Hi there, I'm Almira, the founder of Power, a conscious creation coach and an entrepreneur. It's so great to meet you, and I'm so delighted that you were able to get this gift. So let's get started. This is all about letting go of the past, letting go of a situation, resentments, expectations of people. And I think, especially as we get into life's challenges, there's just so much that we carry, so much baggage, right? And so I wanted to be able to walk you through this process of letting it go, to be able to live in and with the vision of the life that you've always dreamed and of the person you want to be and feel. Because ultimately, we are so shackled by what is, just holding us back, or our thoughts, or replaying the past, replaying that movie. It really truly is holding us back from being at our full potential. I mean, we all know that, right? But what is the work? How do you actually let go of everything? And just talking about my journey is that I'm an entrepreneur. I've also gone through a divorce in my life, challenging relationships, and I started to descend into victimhood. On the outside, life looked amazing. I was winning awards, my businesses were successful. It looked like my relationships were fantastically successful, but they weren't. And as I started to uncover everything and starting to go into my own personal development journey, everything started to come out, right? And, there was different kind of coaching that I did, inner child coaching, goddess coaching, a business coach, because I started to uncover and deal with things from the past, limiting beliefs, but I had to cobble together all of those pieces. There was no one program that was a roadmap, a blueprint, a how-to all of this work. And so that's what my mission and my calling has been, is to work particularly with women, but I do work with men and women, in actually the how-to steps, how to let it go, how to transform your life, how to actually take you on that journey. And my programs are group coaching programs. Again, typically women, wonderful community, but we love to have men join as well, and men do have a lot that you deal with as well, right? I tend to think a lot about the toxic masculinity and the story of masculinity that's out there. But of course, we as women, we also, there's so much there. Anyways, I'm rambling. But there was no one to hold my hand. I was doing therapy and coaching and these digital programs, and mine was a good 4-year journey. And I developed this program because I wanted to be able to help and to serve. And if I could save women from all of that work and to be able to provide a home, if you will, and helping them go through this journey and catalyze their thinking, catalyze changes, then I would love to do that. So that's a bit about my story and how I came to this work. And I typically tend to work with women in their 40s who've gone through life's challenges and really needed to do some deep digging, examining, and, especially life didn't look how you thought it would be, or the inner world, you're in the inside, you're filled with resentment or anger, frustration, and things are not what you wanted it to be. Perhaps it's your marriage, your career. There's so many different experiences that we have in life where there's disappointment, for me. And I don't know if this resonates with you, but I would look back and think about myself in my 20s and thinking about, how did that girl end up in this situation? How did I get here? And that's where I talk about ending up in the victimhood part. Anyways, if you do want to find out more about me and my coaching programs, I'm on Instagram at Almira B, ALMIRAB, and my email are my initials, ab@almirabardai.com. So just reach out. I would love to talk to you about the programs. It is a 6-week journey, and it is really helping you rebuild your inner world to rebuild the outer world and live the life of your dreams. I fully transformed my life, and it was wonderful at one point. And then I started to have my challenges, and I couldn't recognize my life. I couldn't recognize my inner world. I was sad. I was devastated. I couldn't believe the life that I was living. And I picked up my socks through a lot of work, and just really did the inner work. And now I really am living the life of my dreams. I've got, as everybody says, I've got a 6-figure business, but that's come with a lot of clearing all the shit and being in this consciously chosen reality feeling vibration, that I want to teach you about today. So let's start with, what is it that you're holding on to? And there's so much. It could be the past that you're holding on to. It could be limiting beliefs, and let's actually take that situation or that feeling, what it is, and let's start working through it. And to take it even a step back is that our thoughts creates our beliefs, creates our feelings and our actions. So it is a circle. And sometimes it can be a negative spiral and circle, that you have this thought that's not necessarily true. And then it goes to a belief, it creates a belief. And then, of course, there's a feeling behind it, right? You think that, and this is the perfect example, is that you think your spouse is a jerk, and that energy, that reflection, you know how they talk about the universe being a mirror. So it literally is reflected back at you, and it actually makes them worse. And then you start to feel worse and you believe it, and your monkey mind is going on, and it just spirals into the situation. And again, it really, in a not a great way, it catalyzes your narrative so that life really does look like that. And our perceptions and narratives, they of course color our present. Is that saying, you perceive your spouse to be a jerk? Well, again, the energy is materializes that way. Our thoughts, our words actually have form, and it's created. So what you're seeing is the negativity reflected back to you, but it's really hard to let go of it, right? So there's an exercise I'm going to show you in a moment, but just understanding the loop that we have of thoughts create beliefs, create feelings, create actions, and our perceptions and the narratives and the stories that we tell about ourselves, especially about the past. Our brains are wired to think about the past or to have anxiety about the future. We're actually not wired for the present, which I think is crazy considering the power of the mind. And one of the tools that we're really going to talk about is choosing again. Let's clear all the negative stuff. And also, when you feel the negative feelings come up, taking that pause and that breath and choosing again, choosing a different thought, or perhaps reframing it. And how can you reframe your perception? An example here being is that if you're in an argument with somebody, right, the negative feelings are coming up, you think they're being a difficult person. What if we reframe that? What if we can say, how is this happening for me? Or hold on, self, what is it that they're thinking? Can I put myself in their shoes? And sometimes you realize we just create, thoughts in our heads, or we perceive something to be a negative situation. All situations are actually neutral. It is our minds that label it negative or positive. So when you can be really conscious about your thoughts and what you're creating, again, because your thoughts create your beliefs, leading to the perceptions, the narratives, and how you feel things. When you can catch yourself in that spiral, how can you reframe and choose again? So starting now with the negativity bias, as I said, humans are wired for thinking about the past and worrying about the future. We're actually wired for negativity. Observe your words and your thoughts. Think about it. I said to my coach one time, and I said, I'm not here to play small. And she goes, wow, you're a negative person, which was so surprising to me because I don't think of myself as negative at all. And she said, if you were positive, then and looking towards the best case scenario, you would say, I'm here to play big, right? You see that my negative words are, I'm not here to play small. So not and small were forming my reality. And I began to look for examples of things being negative. Again, I look at a glass and I see it overflowing. Even though I do say that I had descended into victimhood about my life, but overall, or maybe it was just about that what I was putting out to the world was very, very positive. But inside there is so much resentment and sadness, which were then, creating and showing up in my life. So I started to consciously choose my words, looking for positivity, looking for beauty, especially as a woman. We love beauty. How could I find this moment beautiful? Even if there was an argument or a difficult situation, I would bless the lesson, right? Reframing it. How can I bless this situation? How can I feel blessed for this lesson? How can I feel blessed for the learning? How can I thank the learning? The more you create this positivity, and I'm not saying do it from a toxic positivity perspective, right? We hear these incredible authors who I absolutely love. There's so many gurus and personal development people out there, but they're saying choose happiness. Yeah, but how do you actually stay or choose in happiness unless you clear everything, which again, we're going to get to. That's good. That's one of the key things. And letting things go is actually clearing it, healing it, getting out of your system, getting out of your body, your mouth. So our words determine our identity in our situations as well. So again, if you're perceiving something as this is happening to me, change it to how can this be for me? Or what am I learning in the situation? Or what is the universe or, my guides trying to tell me? Our brains are also wired for the past and having anxiety about the future. It's not actually wired for the present, wired for the present and enjoying the present. So that's why we actually don't find that particular joy. We're always thinking about things that happened in the past and that we wish we could change, or we're worrying about the future or worried about how things will turn out. So if you can take that moment to step back without worrying, without being angry about something, or perhaps your boss said something to you at work, and so you're all like frustrated, there's a work situation going on, you're just going to worry about those things. How can you take a moment just to step back? Go, whoa, let's just be in the present moment. And when I found out that our brains were actually wired for negative or the worst case scenario, I felt so relieved. It normalized it for me to be thinking about the fact that I was wanting to change the past. It's actually very, very normal. I felt less alone, and I felt like people could understand me, or there wasn't something wrong with me, because there isn't anything wrong with you. Our brains are all naturally wired for this. And that really helped me to let things go, because I would really beat up myself about, I'm this successful entrepreneur. I have this really positive attitude, or outward attitude, especially whatever's going on in my life. But why am I always wishing that something was different, on the inside? And so when I heard that it was normal and that's what our brains do, it goes back to our caveman and cavewoman days. It normalized it for me, and it really allowed me to let it go, that it was a really human experience that I was having, and it humanized it for me and made me feel less isolated. So I hope that piece of information can help you as well. So words create life. So when you're wanting to let go of an experience or a person or the past, whatever has happened, focus on what you can create versus what you can change. So an example would be something at work is, your boss got mad at you. And so, in our minds, we just think about, I wish I'd done that differently, or I wish I could have said that. I wish I could have stood up for myself. Well, you can't, but you can focus on what you can change. Okay. So maybe I won't internalize it. I'm going to look at this as a learning experience. What is it that you would be able to switch into a positive situation and also create something out of there? What about saying that I find ease, grace, and flow at work? I find ease, grace, and flow with my boss. Is there something that you can change that then puts the positive words out? And also, the more that you say these positive words, it starts to actually wire into your system. There's epigenetics, the science of the brain, neuroscience, the science of the brain. There's epigenetics about saying that we can actually change our brain. We can change our genes also, and our DNA. So what is it that you're actually starting to wire into your mouth, your by the words that you're using, wiring into your throat by the words that you're using, even wiring into your heart, into your body? What can you actually start putting out there? And you know what? When you start to use the positive words, like I said, our words and thoughts create form and actually happen. So what is that you can put into the world? Because you cannot change the past, but you can bring the present and its beauty, and bring the future and its beauty into your reality. So now finally moving to what I call the feel it to clear it method. In this method, you are clearing from your mind, you're clearing from the body. The body holds so much. I know that after my divorce, I felt like that there was trauma and shame on my skin, and I could actually feel like I needed to wipe it off. So I would do this practice to be able to clear it out of my body. That was one of the things that I learned, is that it wasn't just about acknowledging or healing something, it was also about clearing it from your body. So I would actually look for where it was held in my body and I would clear it. Clearing it from your heart, your tongue saying things, and then clearing it from the soul and from energy. So much of my work is a holistic practice, taking in account mind, body, soul, heart, tongue, the energy, to be able to really work on letting everything fully let it go, but then also about daily practices to be able to keep up with the ongoing work without too much effort. Like, I'm a busy mom, busy working mom. We all have relationships and hobbies and things that we want to do. I always like to be able to find small ways to incorporate mindfulness and accountability to myself in continuing to make the different choices in my life. So, and also the work that I'm showing you works at a spiritual level. So first of all, taking this first exercise, what is it that you're letting go of? Now, from an emotions perspective, hurt, anger, sadness, pain, ego, stuck energy, as there are fears, triggers, relationships, old habits, patterns, and thoughts that are no longer serving us, inner child, inner critic, childhood, the past, fear of the future, negativity, stories, conscious beliefs, subconscious beliefs. Choose one thing, and maybe it's on the list or not. And also, when I talk about subconscious beliefs, I'm also talking about familial beliefs, gender, ethnicity, ancestral and past lives. And particularly we as women, there's so much in the world that has taught us, and in a society, that we're not good enough. We'll never fit in. We don't fit what beauty is considered, right? Like all of that crap. Put it on the list if that's something that you want to let go of. And so sitting here, taking a moment to breathe, we're going to get grounded as we move into this. So just feet on the floor if you're in a chair or sitting on the ground. Let's just take a moment here to get grounded as we go through this exercise. Taking a moment to breathe in. And breathe out. However you're breathing, doubling down, taking longer, taking twice as long. Breathe in. And breathe out. Another breath in. And letting it out. So here you are with your eyes closed, acknowledging, making whatever you wanted to let go, make it feel welcome. Perhaps you're playing a movie in my mind. That's in your mind. That's one of the things that I like to do, is I like to play the movie in my mind, the situation, what it's like. I need to feel it. I think about where in my body it is. Where's its existence in my body? Oftentimes I feel it in my hips, or I feel it in my solar plexus. Where is it? What does it feel like? Get to know it. When I close my eyes and when I think about a situation, because I start to feel it, I often feel like I'm gripping something energetically. And it feels like my energetic hands, my virtual hands, if you will, are gripping something or gripping a situation. It's something that I want. On the outside, I don't have that grip, but it's like energetically, I feel like I'm just holding on and I can't let go. And I can't let it be, or I can't give it to ease, grace, and flow. What is it? So maybe there's some resistance that's coming up. Feel all the feels. Maybe you don't want to let go of anger because you don't know who you are without it. That often helps in relationships, is a grudge. You don't want to let go of the grudge because, oh my gosh, you've been mad at somebody for 10 years. But if you don't have that grudge, who are you? Maybe you don't recognize yourself. There's so many different situations. Feel that feeling and the feeling behind it. What would it be like to no longer have these thoughts, right? What are you losing? Again, sometimes it's just such a habit to hold on to this negative thoughts or the past or whatever it might be. Or you could blame your mother for something that If you can continue to blame her, you don't have to accept responsibility for certain things in your life. Our fear protects us. Our resistance protects us. There's nothing wrong with it. It is absolutely perfect and part of your story. Now we're moving into the heal method, where talk to it, get curious, befriend it. What is it trying to say to you? It's okay to befriend these negative feelings or situations, whatever it might be. If somebody's wronged you, it's okay to work on it, to heal it, to be friends with it, because this is what's going to get you emotional freedom. Now, you'll likely want to go through this slower in your own time. We're going to move on to the clearing part of this. So find that yucky part, that yucky feeling. Purging it, keeping your eyes closed. I often imagine that there is a clear liquid going through my blood veins, because it's clearing through my blood, clearing through my body, often clearing through my throat. I used to think that not really standing up for yourself in a love relationship was keeping the peace. That's actually passive aggressiveness. And for me, I had to clear so much from my throat, the things that I wasn't saying. I had to clear grudges from my heart, from my body. And when emotion comes up, oftentimes I'll say, just delete, delete, delete. I delete it energetically, delete it at a DNA and cellular level. That could be coming up for you as well. Just saying, delete, delete, delete. It's time to let go of this. Let go out of your bones. Let it out of your body, let it out of your mind. And then detaching from it. So the 4 steps that we've gone through here for the Feel It to Clear Up method is acknowledge, feel, heal, and clear. What are we doing? We're energetically purging everything. You are feeling it, you are getting out of your body, you're recognizing where in your body, your throat, your heart, your spiritual levels, your energy, wherever you can recognize it. And you may need to go through this exercise a few times because there's so many layers to it. Run different emotions through it. You know, even sometimes I'll be listening to something in a podcast and I'll be like, oh, I can feel that. I'll clear it. I'll use this method and I'll clear it. I'll say delete, delete, delete. When I'm saying that delete, 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 I'm actually deleting it at a DNA and cellular level. I'm changing my genes, my DNA, removing these feelings, I'm transmuting it, and I'm also will dissolve things. I'm not cutting the cord. You know, that perspective of cutting the cord, it's a very harsh thing. If there's something that I feel like it has its power on me because I want to reclaim my power, right? I imagine that it is a cord dissolving. Right? How does it feel? Can you imagine if you were tied up in a knot and somebody came at you with a knife to cut the cords? Ooh, you wouldn't want to get cut, right? Think about something dissolving. There's so much more softness in there. Now, where do we go from here? Once we have let go of this situation, and we've just had this example of walking through one piece right now, what do we do next? We want to master our thoughts and feelings. And this involves choosing again. When you can let go of something, you feel different. Your energy is different. You feel lighter. And it may not happen the first time, but it will happen as you go through this. Choosing again, what thought, what do you want to think of instead? So perhaps you find you're thinking of the past. What can you think about the future? What are you choosing? What thought are you choosing? What feeling are you choosing? What are you replacing with? What are you perhaps now rewiring your brain to think about is that, okay, I feel this thought. And by the way, like, don't just ignore the thought or just stuff it down, because that's actually going to make it worse. If you are feeling those thoughts you are thinking those thoughts or feeling those feelings, acknowledge them, let them be, because oftentimes they are trying to tell you something or show you something. It's okay. The bad feelings and bad thoughts, they are okay. But now this is a management tool, if you will, for how to actually deal with it when it comes up. And so you don't get stuck into the darkness and the dark feelings. What can you do to actually let things go? This is what this is about. How do I let it go? I've dealt with it. I'm dealing with it. But what do I do from here? And how can I move into more positivity? You can also use a pattern breaker. I find that when I get frustrated and sometimes I'll start to spiral, I'm like, whoa. So first of all, it's the acknowledgement of it. But then I'll say to myself, my luxurious white beach house, this is my dream. It is a beautiful home in the Caribbean. And I think about my luxurious white beach house and I visualize it, my dream home that I want to have. Here's a key one when it comes to what to do next. Boundaries. This is so important. And it's boundaries for yourself in terms of limiting your thoughts, the negative thoughts, is that if you find yourself spiraling or it's just there's so much negativity, I actually say to myself, okay, thank you so much for these thoughts. But for my self-care, I will no longer tolerate this. And I had to untrain myself to allow that negativity in. I will no longer tolerate it. And, or again, that's a negative word, no longer tolerating. So I would change that to say, my mind is a sacred place. I choose to focus on the positive, right? So in this, I was giving my own mind, my monkey mind boundaries. And then of course, just having boundaries with other people, because, you know, if you're letting go of a situation with a parent and your parent is still in your life, they're not going to magically change overnight. But this is the whole concept of how to let it go, is that how are we changing our own energy or situations in our lives that we show up differently, right? Because that's so much of what it is, that how do we show up? And then how does that ripple effect to other people? But it's not going to change overnight, right? So we're going to have our boundaries with ourselves and then boundaries with other people. And it doesn't come from a harsh, like angry place. You're in a beautiful energy. You're in a gorgeous energy. It makes you happy. So if your parent perhaps is being rude or attacking you, you can say, I won't let you speak to me like that. That's different from, I'm not going to let you speak to me like that. Honor yourself. Stand on your own beautiful, healthy energy. I'm not going to let you speak to me like that. Or I expect that you'll speak to me kindly. I honor myself to be treated kindly. That's a different boundary. And it's also coming from your beautiful energetic aura. It's not necessarily coming from the solar plexus, you know, where our stomach is. There's so much fire and energy coming from there. When you are giving your boundaries, how can you speak from your heart? And how can you speak from a beautiful place? A key piece of all of this is your vision. Your vision for the life that you want, the person that you are, the energy they have. This is a key piece of how you bring about change, is that when you sit and close your eyes, what would it feel like to let go of these negative emotions or no longer to carry that emotional baggage? What does that feel like? What does it look like? Who are you when you don't have that anymore? Can you feel it? So when you're feeling things coming up, notice it. This is not in line with the vision of what I want. It does not feel like the vision of who I am on the inside, how I want to feel on the inside. If you can take that moment of pause and be really, really conscious and aware, this is where the shifts happen, right? Is about saying, this is not in alignment with my vision and how I want to live. I consciously choose to change it. That feeling is just so amazing. It's a conscious thought. It's a conscious choice. I don't want it to sound like a lot of work. I want it to seem easy because it is. You get to choose your vibration. But again, until you let go of all of those layers, what's holding you back, the stories, the past, whatever it might be, you can't fully energetically live in the beauty of your present or your future or any exciting things that are happening. You want to be operating from vision and vibration. I want to share this quote from you. It's by Fleur de Lis Speaks. My mind is a sacred space. I will protect it at all costs. It is not a dumping ground for negative self-talk, toxic thoughts, or the criticism of others. Today, I will honor my mind by only accepting positive, life-giving words into my space. It is my space. I get to choose what comes in here. I get to choose what is created. I get to choose what I create. And I choose beauty and joy and all of those other good things. So I want to leave you with some practices that you can do, some simple practices to continue being able to do this conscious creation work. Creating sacred spaces and energy, right? Cleanse your rooms. There's negativity sprays now. I love it. You don't even have to light the incense. You just spray the negativity spray. Make sure to spray it in corners. Negative energy likes to hang out. Create a meditation area, a yoga area. Sitting in stillness. In our busy world, we don't get a lot of chance to sit in stillness. Just sit down. Sit down for quiet. I know it's hard to sit. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Just start with that. 1 minute. I know it's hard to let go of the thought. Make it easy. It is so easy to sit in stillness. How do you change your words? How do you change your energy? Plugging into the light. If you are a meditator, I do find, especially when I started meditation, there were so many negative thoughts coming up. And partially it's because I was letting them take over. Now I visualize the light coming from above, and it helps me to stay really, really mindful and a beautiful energy. Meditation and mindfulness. Those are wonderful practices. I know sometimes it's hard to sit down and meditate. I still do encourage you to do it. But even just being mindful when you eat, mindful when you drive, mindful when you're around your children or in a relationship or at work. Gratitude. This is so important. Count your blessings, having gratitude for everything that you have. You know, if you're thinking about an ex and you're so sad about them and not having them in your life or having a relationship in your life, count your blessings now. Your cat, your dog, a beautiful sunny day, the rain, the sun, count your blessings. The energy of abundance and blessings and appreciation is huge. You can journal, move your body, watch your thoughts and language, bring in that positivity bias. Cleanse your spaces, as I mentioned. Use a fresh scent, flowers, perfume, beautiful candles. Change your scent. That also changes up stagnant energy, fresh scent. You could have a scent meditation, even just inhaling that beautiful scent. Playing healing frequency music and nature music. This is actually my two favorite. It's so easy just to turn on iTunes or Spotify. I have a beautiful playlist. Playing nature music of flowing water and birds, the active energy and also the flowing energy of water, huge. I will attest to the fact that will even change your relationship. Another practice, of course, that we talked about, reframing. How is this for me? Can you question something? Can you question yourself? Am I just looking at this from my perspective? Is be a question I would often ask and be like, get off your high horse. It's not about you. Or it's not just about you. What is the other person thinking? That was a game changer. What are you replacing the negative questions or thoughts or beliefs with? What are you replacing with positively rewiring your brain? Breathing. Just choose to breathe. Oxygen is free. Be grateful for the breath that you have, perhaps. Choosing to pause. Choosing the beautiful present moment. Again, we're not used to stillness, slowing down. Oh, there's so much joy in a cup of coffee, in a cup of tea, in water. Self-care and self-management. These are key. I know that when I don't sleep enough, I get very grumpy. So it definitely has a toll on my emotions, my hormones. So making sure that I sleep is my number one self-care practice, and get good sleep, 7 to 8 hours a night. All of this, in terms of letting go of the past and these practices that I've shared, is we're changing your state, your energy, and your vibration. Being able to claim your power, letting go of whatever it is has its hold on you. When you can do that letting go, clearing through those layers, you can actually consciously start moving into a happier state, a better, stronger energy, a beautiful energy and vibration. The state of appreciation is a state of love. And this is where healing happens, blessings arrive, and your power comes through. It's been such a pleasure being able to walk you through this. I hope that I provided service. And if you are looking for coaching, I would love to discuss further. Again, I'm at Almira B, at ALMIRAB on Instagram, or my email is ab@almirabardai.com. My program is called Power. I would love to be in service of giving you the roadmap, the blueprint, the support in taking your power back and being able to help you step into your most extraordinary life, because you have one life to live. Don't you want to live it amazingly?